Every great song has a story, but some stories are so strange, they sound almost impossible. Take David Bowie's life on Mars. It didn't start as a bold work of genius. It started as a failure. In fact, Bowie once tried to write the English lyrics for what would later become Frank Sinatra's My Way. He didn't get the job. He lost out. But out of that rejection came something even greater. This is the story of how Bowie turned disappointment into one of the greatest songs of his career. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more fascinating tales from music history. The year was 1967. A French song, Comme d'habitude, was starting to gain attention. Its title means as usual. The song told a bleak story of routine, heartbreak, and fading love. Bowie's publishing office received a copy of the track. The publisher was asked, "Do you know someone who could write English lyrics for this?" His answer was immediate: David Bowie. For Bowie, this was huge. He was young, he was ambitious, and he was still waiting for his big break. So he gave it everything. He wrote new English lyrics and called his version Even a Fool Learns to Love. If you hear the demo, you can sense it. Bowie sings directly over the French tape. His voice is raw, passionate, hungry. He wanted this job badly. But then, the twist. The French publishers rejected it. They weren't convinced. Instead, they gave the rights to Paul Anka. Anka rewrote the lyrics. Sinatra sang them, and the result became history, My Way. For Bowie, it was devastating. Years later, he admitted, "I was really pissed off. I thought it should have been my song. Imagine it. The song you worked so hard on becomes one of the biggest hits of all time, but under someone else's name." Yet Bowie didn't collapse under the weight of rejection. He made a promise to himself. If Sinatra had My Way, Bowie would one day write his way. The seed was planted, but it would take years to grow. In 1967, Bowie was still far from famous. His debut album flopped. Critics ignored it. His record label didn't bother to push it. 2 years later, another album suffered the same fate. The single Space Oddity hinted at potential, but Bowie was still searching. These failures, though, gave him freedom. Nobody expected anything from him, so he experimented. He wrote songs for others. He played with sounds. He explored. Then came a turning point, a trip to North America. There, Bowie absorbed art, culture, and music. He returned inspired. Inspired enough to create the songs that would fill his fourth album, Hunky Dory. In the spring of 1971, Bowie sat at a piano. He began writing a new song. It started simple, just piano and voice, but it would grow into Life on Mars. Listen to the demo and you'll hear it. A surreal story taking shape. The melody is stunning, but then Bowie takes a left turn. It's part pop, part theater, part dream, and above all, it's Bowie. The song was born out of rejection, but now it was becoming something far more powerful. Summer 1971. Bowie enters the studio to record Hunky Dory. He brings familiar musicians. Among them is Rick Wakeman. Bowie invites Wakeman to his home, sits him at a grand piano, plays Life on Mars. Wakeman is floored. "That's one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard." Bowie asks him to play it. Wakeman asks how. Bowie replies simply, "Just play." And so he did. Wakeman's elegant piano became the spine of the track, but Bowie wasn't finished. He turned to Mick Ronson, his guitarist. He asked Ronson to arrange strings. Sweeping strings. Cinematic drama. Exactly what the song needed. Then Bowie added other textures, a recorder line, a string quartet. Every piece fit together. The masterpiece was taking shape. But then, another twist. During one take, a loud telephone rang. Someone had dialed the wrong number. The band cursed. Later, producer Ken Scott listened back. At the very end of the song, as the strings faded, he heard it. The piano returning, the phone ringing, Bowie swearing. It was too good to delete. Scott decided to keep it, a hidden accident forever embedded in the track. One thing about Bowie, he thrived on spontaneity. Scott revealed that 95% of Bowie's vocals were first takes. What you hear on Life on Mars is likely the very first run. No polish, no second try, just raw emotion. That's what gave the song its edge, its energy, its life. Hunky Dory came out in December 1971, and once again, disappointment. Critics praised it, but the album barely sold. Bowie must have wondered if failure would haunt him forever. But then came Ziggy Stardust. Bowie's flamboyant new persona lit up the world. Fans discovered Hunky Dory. And suddenly Life on Mars became a highlight of his shows. In 1973, RCA released it as a single. A video was filmed by Mick Rock. It's simple. Bowie in a turquoise suit, heavy makeup, staring into the camera as he sings. Minimalist, strange, iconic. And with that, Life on Mars became one of his defining songs. Now let's step back. Remember where this started. Sinatra's My Way became legendary. But here's the twist. Sinatra hated it. He thought it was self-indulgent. He resented singing it night after night. Bowie's story was the opposite. He took the pain of rejection and turned it into triumph. Life on Mars wasn't a burden. It was a joy, a crown jewel in his catalog. Where My Way trapped Sinatra, Life on Mars freed Bowie. Today, Life on Mars stands as one of the great songs of the 20th century. Surreal, theatrical, timeless. It reminds us that rejection isn't the end. Sometimes it's the spark that leads to greatness. Without Bowie's failed attempt at My Way, we would never have Life on Mars. David Bowie's journey from Comme d'habitude to Life on Mars is a story of resilience, of reinvention, of turning failure into art. If My Way was about control, Bowie's Life on Mars was about escape, about beauty, about possibility. And that's why it still resonates today. If you like this journey into Bowie's world, give the video a like and subscribe so you won't miss the next story.